Hey, my name's Owen, and this is my video journal. So, this semester, I underwent the task of doing screen drama. Now, it's only 6 weeks in, but I can tell this course is bonkers. I enrolled in this course because I wanted to get some knowledge that I didn't have. I wanted to get some of that experience. Some days I look at what we're doing and I'm just like, what? I can say so far this course is pretty good, but I'm nowhere near knowledgeable enough in this entire subject. My ambitions in the course were just to improve my overall media production knowledge. Before the workshops, I didn't really know much. I don't know what I'm doing! But after them, man, they were a lot of help. Oh, so that's what I'm doing. Workshops were a massive help in that. They also made me realize how little I really knew about media production. I gave it a red hot go during the Friday workshops, and after a lot of fiddling, I can definitely say that I am maybe not proficient, but I'm adequate at using the cameras. And boy am I adequate. In my opinion, there's quite a difference between factual filmmaking and screen drama. In screen drama, you know the story. The script says, this guy goes there and says this to that guy, who then goes there and then this happens. Whereas in factual filmmaking, like a documentary, you're an observer. You do still create the content, but it can have certain amounts of unpredictability. You don't control everything, but you can make it seem or appear in the way that you want it to appear. The two are very similar in the way that they both need a lot of planning. They need planning, pre-production, production, and post-production to all be thought out carefully. But in the end, I think screen dramas they're just much better at telling a narrative. So for the pre-production exercise and the 6 weeks of paperwork, I chose to do Tongue-Tied. So Tongue-Tied's a trying tale of a troubled young teen with a vicious case of Tourette's and the redemption at the hands of a young lass. The script was short, it was interesting, but above all else it was pretty funny. Following our sympathetic protagonist Brian, we get to follow him on his journey to overcome his adverse circumstances, which in the script is his uncontrollable tic. The dramatic situation he finds himself in is that he's unable to have a normal life. His tic messes everything up. He can't talk to women, he can't pay attention in class, and he can't hold down a job. In the script he tries to find different jobs and see how he does, but he's constantly triggered by some external source which just makes his Tourette's go off and then he can't control himself. He thinks that all hope is lost until he meets a girl, which is Mindy, and she helps him get his life back on track. After coercing him to try and find a job as a spruiker, where his tics will be welcomed rather than condemned, he finds his niche and he's a much happier person because of it. The script was great, and even though it was only 16 scenes, the pre-production paperwork was a bit of a challenge. The mood board's fun, and it helps us get a feel of how we want the script to appear on the screen. So it's a very, very rough visual representation. The script breakdown sheets helped us to know what's going to be in each scene, which scene can be done together. The mark shooting script builds from the script breakdown. It's a more technical preview of the shooting to come. It allows us to decide what shots are taking place from what location and angle. The budget of the film is the limitation we'll encounter when we're in production. So it'll tell us how much money and equipment we have to spend and what we have to work with. The overhead diagram are the visual representations of the mark shooting script, with the addition of being able to see the blocking, so the most important part. The shot list is the early step that is taken so we can choose and prioritize what needs to be shot where and on what day. The draft call sheet is for the cast and crew, so they know what scene's being shot, what day it's being shot, where it's taking place, what time, who is required, and when they need to be on set. The Friday workshops were awesome, so they were a lot of fun and informative. They let me know about what's on after uni, you know, what happens when I finish. It also allowed us to get our hands on some of the equipment, so some of the cameras we used, and helped us to figure out, you know, how each setting needs to be used to get that perfect shot. It gave me the freedom to discover on my own and do what I wanted, which was great. I prefer to figure it out on my own through trial and error. Whether or not the shot will look good doesn't really matter, as long as I figure it out on my own. The only constraints I'd have is probably to do with the time. We did have plenty of time to get a hang of the cameras, but it wasn't enough, and I guess the more time we spend on the cameras, the better we'll become. So that's my video journal. Thanks for listening.